Hello and welcome to the Notebook for day 2 of the second test here in Barcelona, and we're calling this one the tight midfield. Apologies for not doing Force India yesterday, by the way. I've missed one out. I forgot. Sorry, well, I didn't forget, but I just missed it out. Anyway, that's why we're starting here with Bob Fernley from the team. Oh, apologies, by the way, also about the little glitch we had with the sound yesterday. It's all repaired. It's on the website if you want to have a look at it. But it was a problem with the computer, not with Simon's mic, don't worry, or operator error, although it normally is. Bob, enough of this nonsense. Tell me how Force India's winter has gone so far.
Yeah, it's been very productive. I mean, no issues at all from our side. We've known exactly what we wanted to achieve from the from the end of the season to where we are today. So, and all the boxes are ticked.
All right. What was that doing what you exactly wanted to achieve? What, developing last year's car? Is there a rich seam of gold, development speaking wise, to be mined?
I wish so, but unlikely. It's just a lot of hard work, I think, just to try and... It's an evolution, and all evolutions are only small steps these days, because we're at the end of a development program.
Okay. What do you mean at end of development program? What with this car? Or?
Yeah, well, everything's starting to close in now, okay. And you're getting the optimum out of the cars. Okay. So the last pieces are always hard to get.
All right. So that means that we'll stay with this concept, this car, for this year, and then there'll be a sort of fresh start for. Well, we don't even know what kind of cars we're going to have in 2017, are we?
Well, I suspect they'll be quite a bit different.
Okay, yeah, of course they will. They're already wider. We know that. We don't know the final details. All right. Where would you say you are? Obviously, you haven't gone completely different like Ferrari. But they started from a higher position and are ahead of you. But the fight between you and Williams in the midfield, we don't know where Sauber and even Haas F1 are, or Red Bull are at the moment. Have you got a picture of where you are?
I think you probably see it this morning, really, in some ways, is you've got sort of 4 or 5 teams that are really tight, and the question is how much fuel are they using, and I can't give you that answer. We might know a little bit more over the next 2 days when we're doing the race simulations, but it really will be Australia before you get the full pecking order.
You can tell us how much fuel you've been using.
I could do, but I won't.
Fair enough. Tell us about what's going on inside the team with the drivers as well, because you've taken on a couple of new test drivers, and Alfonso Celis, sorry, I keep mispronouncing that, has been doing a couple of days in the first test. That's meant a few days that Checo and Nico haven't managed to be in the car. I know needs must, but we've got shorter tests now. Would you not have wanted to give them as much time as possible in the winter?
No, I don't think so. I think from our point of view, that work was mainly aero work, and it's very important for Celis to have a good run in the car and feel comfortable with it. I thought he did an excellent job, actually, and from our side of it, it's nice to be able to start bringing the youngsters through.
Okay, yeah, no, he did do a very good job. Tell us what's new on the car. I was going to say this yesterday before I forgot, but there was a new front wing end plate as well.
Yeah, we're evaluating that. Obviously, the rear end of the car is pretty new in terms of the bodywork, suspension, what have you, and we've got more pieces to come on between now, Australia and Bahrain. Okay,
all right, and let's finally end on the difficult stuff. Various lurid stories in the online and on the website that VJ is on his way out of the team, on his way out of Formula One. You read all sorts of things. What's going on?
I think, as usual, it's a little bit of speculation coming from Indian media that is then exaggerated and carried through. There's no issues at all. VJ is fully in charge of Force India.
Okay, all right, brilliant. All right, Bob, thanks very much. Thanks. So Eric B. With no Rakim. Does anyone ever make that joke?
No.
Eric B and Rakim,
Yeah.
You remember them?
No. Oh, yes.
Are you a flat Eric or are you a happy Eric?
Happier.
Happier, why?
Because we can run, because behind the scene we can see some of the hard work we have put through the winter is paying off. But still not totally happy, but happier.
What's the car like? Every time you come in, screens go up. We can't really get to see it. It looks like there's been some changes today. Have you got different side pods or something?
No, we are gradually bringing some 2016 aero kits between today and Friday.
Okay, but you're staying with the size 0. You haven't had to open out any of the side pods for any cooling with any of the new bits that Honda are bringing?
We don't need to. It's fine.
Good. Yeah. All right, just checking. And what is what are the cool bits of the car? Because aerodynamically, you've got Peter Prodruma. This is his first proper car, isn't it? Is he happy with it? Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I think we are happy. Yeah, but we will see in Australia, and definitely if we when you compare with the other cars with the same conditions, let's say, you can see if your car is delivering what you expect. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right, let's wonder, because Charlotte here wants you in the other room. What about Fernando? He said yesterday it was too early to tell whether the new bits from Honda made much of a difference. Too early, or he couldn't tell the difference, if there was a difference?
No, too early.
Okay.
Okay. There is
Promise. You promise.
no promise.
Okay.
The issue with this PU, obviously, it's you can play with, let's say, mappings a lot, and obviously there is a lot of gains, so you can change the numbers easily from very big difference.
Okay.
So as long as we are not obviously totally secure with reliability, we have to be careful.
But just finally, let's go in. You're sure that Fernando and Jensen are still happy enough after you? Because are not going to be thinking, okay, well, it's just the same story again from last year. Already rumours that Fernando's looking at Nico's seat for next year at Mercedes.
It's just rumours.
I know, but if he's not happy and if he doesn't see progress here, he's going to want to go to a car where he can win the championship.
Of course, but every guy is here are looking to create rumours and stories. So we are used to. And the best is to wait and see, and you will see what he's doing.
Okay, but you get a sense that both Jensen and Fernando are happy with the progress.
They are.
I'll let you go. Thank you very much. It's all right, you can go this way. Not sure we could call Williams the midfield. Well, I don't know. Maybe we could call Williams the midfield. You're kind of leading the midfield, aren't you? Do you know even where you are? I mean, you're in Barcelona, obviously.
Well, hopefully not midfield.
Yeah.
We need to be better than that. So, but yeah, it's been good testing so far, and that's it actually from my side for testing. So Felipe still have the 2 days, and we have made good progress, and hopefully we'll continue that.
What's been the track evolution? Because I've been watching your times, and you've been doing similar times on the soft today as you did the super soft. Have I got that the wrong way around? You did a super soft time and a soft time that were within a tenth or two. Does that mean the track's got quicker over the last 2 days? It would have done, wouldn't it?
Well, it's been actually changing a lot, and especially from the morning to the afternoon. Normally the wind picks up, and the wind direction, it has a big effect here. And again, this afternoon the wind was pretty difficult, so it has been changing a lot. So sometimes it is very difficult to really compare the lap times in detail. But yeah, we can always calculate our things. We can calculate the effect of the wind and so on. So I think we have made good progress all the time during the testing.
Okay, good. Kelly's got to take you away.
Yeah.
When do you leave for Melbourne? Are you looking forward to this front wing that's coming for Melbourne?
What front wing?
Apparently you've got the front wing, the new front wing we've all been waiting for. I've been going on and on about it. When is the new Williams nose and the front wing going to come? And they say it's going to come for Melbourne.
I don't know. I hope so. Let's see.
All right.
Thank you.
Go on, off you go. Join us after the break when we will round up everybody's day here at day 2 of the second test in Barcelona. Hiya, buenos dias, or should that be buenas noches? Welcome back to Barcelona for the roundup of the second day of the second and final test here. And well, I'd love to say it's been a hard day's work for Haas F1 and for Esteban Gutierrez, and it has for the mechanics, unfortunately, because the car hasn't been out at all. No time set, 1 lap, and nothing for the Haas team, F1 team, and that is on the back of a fuel system failure yesterday, and today it was a turbo. So they changed the turbo last night, and they knew it was going to be a long job and didn't manage to get out at all today. Some question about whether the turbo overran or not, but Ferrari did want to change it, and they saw an anomaly. Gene Haas himself says he's very frustrated about the issues, and he also made a comment about how complex. He never expected the complexity of these cars and power units. Anyone who worked for McLaren could have told him that from last year, but he's amazed at the complexity of the whole thing, more than he could have expected. So I don't know, that's it for Gutierrez. It's Grosjean in the car for the next couple of days. You're right, Si, just going back through here. Sorry, I just rudely put it back. And it's up to Grosjean to get some stability back into this operation, because having had such a good first test, it's all rather sort of fallen to pieces. And that was always going to be the risk with Haas F1. Yes, they come in at a very high level. Yes, they're all, got lovely shiny motorhomes. But when you've got a new package and a new team to gel together, it just underlines how difficult it is. And the Ferrari relationship in terms of the power unit, yes, Signor, you can hide all you like. It starts to get tricky, because obviously the Haas F1 team can't overtly say this is a Ferrari problem. Turbo does come under Ferrari's remit because they're so much, in partnership with the Italian marque, and it is one of the stories of the test, is why we're having these Ferrari failures on their power unit. Talks about a fuel pump seemed to be wrong, talks about a fuel system problems. Well, Ferrari tell me that they haven't had a recurrence of the fuel system problem they suffered with anybody else. Although Haas F1 had their own fuel system problem. So anyway, let's talk a bit about McLaren. They did a race simulation, and what do you think? Are they happy? It's impossible to tell, but you can go inside and have a look at the motorhome. Jenson Button giving his little press conference, the same motorhome we spoke to Eric Boulier a little bit earlier. Well, I'll tell you about their time. Jenson Button was 5th quickest today on a 1:25.1, only 1.9 seconds off the ultimate pace with 121 laps, and that's what you get when you do a race simulation. So very solid day for McLaren. They had a suspension problem which kept them in the garage early doors, but otherwise it's been pretty good. Just to set the scene down here, Jenson's talking. We've got Family Alonso in the early seat down here, just listening to what's going on. And then the left, look, we've got Mr. Arai in the doorway. See, Simon? He's still here. Look, there he is. Oh, he's disappeared. Did you miss him? You missed Mr. Arai. He ducked out of the way. Mr. Arai is still here as he hands over to Mr. Yasugawa here, just having a cup of tea. Yasuhisa Arai is still at the circuit. Right, careful as you come out, and we will make our way out of McLaren. But they shouldn't be too secretive, because it's actually a good day for McLaren Honda. Do I need to pull that? There we go. That's better. 5th quickest, and that's it. Right. Manor, and a little problem kept them in the garage early on and just before lunchtime, but they managed to get out. Did Pascal Wehrlein for the 10th quickest time, and 79 laps, a 1:27.0, and that fastest, the 1:27.0, was on the soft. Compares quite well to Rio Haryanto, whose quickest was a 1:27 yesterday, 1:27.6 on the mediums. So Haryanto, with pretty much the offset we're expecting, medium to soft. So is that Haryanto actually getting his, there's the ever-smiling Fred Vasseur there on his phone. Is that Haryanto really getting down some respectable times in his manner? Well, I think it is. So anyway, it's pretty good. And okay, I mean, they were 10th quickest, 3 seconds off the pace, but still, that is an improvement, and you sense they're not too disappointed at all going up into the motorhome. There is the man himself, the fan of Justin Bieber, who we featured on Know Your Driver a little earlier in the weekend. And look, there's Craig Slater working very hard. Who are we waiting for? Craig?
We are waiting for Kevin Magnussen. Yeah. We spoke to yesterday, but who's gone along pretty well today again.
He has.
I just wonder what his benchmark is for the season, what team they think they can tag along behind and maybe look to get close to. Presumably Red Bull, maybe, I suppose, with the same power unit.
Well, yeah, I mean, they'll be back at the, thank you, Craig, they'll be back at the end of the midfield. We looked at the midfield a little bit earlier. Careful who you clonk into over there. Oh, it's Alex Young. You almost clonked into Alex Young. Sorry, Alex. You're all right. Not bad. How are you? If I had a spare hand, I'd shake your hand. Are you well?
Yes, very good, thanks.
Good. All right. Anything else going on?
No, nothing else is going on. I mean, obviously good to be here for pre-season testing. The cars pretty much look the same, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and the reliability's been pretty good, which is what you'd expect, I guess.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Leave you too. Watch Fox Sports, everybody. I said it so
Fox
you didn't
Sports.
have to.
Yeah.
All right. Who are you if you're watching us in Asia? You're not watching us in Asia. Sorry, slightly more random than usual. But actually, Magnussen was third quickest today, K-Mag, a 123.9, 126 laps. A race simulation this afternoon on the Super Soft for that 23.9. But what Craig says is key in terms of the switch from Mercedes to Renault engine, because they are 7/10 behind Williams on the same tyre, are Renault. And that is after changing from the Mercedes to the Renault engine. So that has got to be part of it. Absolutely no doubt about it. Sauber, now they've had similar problems on their power unit to Ferrari, and one of the many Ferrari customers who've also had problems on their power units. They're not saying it publicly because they can't. We do understand that that's the issue. I've asked Ferrari about it, and they're saying that no, we're not having any problems. The rumours in the paddock are that we've had 9 failures on various bits of Ferrari power units between Ferrari, between Sauber, between Haas, and between Toro Rosso. That's only a rumour. I don't know if it's true or not. I have spoken to Ferrari. I will do Ferrari now, and Ferrari say that. Let me just get it here. That's what testing is for. We do have some issues, but we haven't had any similar problems reoccur. There is not a fuel pump problem. There was a change of a fuel pump from Ferrari, but they do that. That is part of testing when they try and push the boundaries and find out which fuel pumps are best. We do know that Ferrari did change their fuel tank overnight last night to this morning, which is unusual and not something you really want to do, the teams really want to do in the field, because it's a very fiddly thing to do, changing the ATL fuel tank. There's Maurizio Arrivabene just going in to his office upstairs in the little motorhome here. So I do know that for a fact. They did change their fuel tank. But listen, it's 9 days before the cars fly away. Sorry, it's 9 days before personnel fly away to Australia, and it's a week before the first of the air freight and the cars start going to Australia. So if, and I'm saying a big if, Ferrari do have some kind of problem with their power units throughout all the teams, then they haven't got long to get it fixed. Let's just leave it at that. As for Ferrari, they did with Sebastian Vettel fourth quickest today, a 124.6, 151 laps. Wow, so they've certainly sorted out their fuel system reliability. Just to quickly finish off on Sauber, Marcus Ericsson caused a red flag at the end when a wheel fell off his Sauber, somewhat unexplained for some reason. We thought that he'd spun, but in fact I did confirm that he did a wheel did indeed come off. They've got a new chief engineer at Sauber. Where are they? Back down there. His name's Tim Mallion, and he's from Red Bull. But he's taken over from Gianpaolo Dallara, who's gone off and doing something else in the engineering world now. How am I doing for time? Okay, carry on. Now who's next? Force India, we've already heard from Bob Fernley. There he is, just disappearing back to his office. And Sergio Perez was, what was he today? He was 8th quickest on 128 laps on a 125.5. And that is pretty solid. Perez himself said, sorry, I'm just juggling two things here. He says, I want to believe that we will go to Melbourne in the same positions where we were left off in Abu Dhabi. And that's a common refrain, isn't it? It looks like we're going to go to Abu Dhabi and go to Melbourne, and everyone's going to be exactly the same position as they were in Abu Dhabi. But they were sort of 4th, 5th, 6th position in the race in Abu Dhabi. So that's very, very solid for Force India. As for what I was asking Bob Fernley about Diageo and about Vijay still running the team, well, there is this dispute. Diageo, the drinks company, appear to have bought out, if we're to believe what we read, Vijay Mallya and his concern in United Spirits, which was Vijay's company. There is a suspicion that Diageo actually, as part of security for some sort of financial shenanigans, own the Force India team. They're certainly still sponsored by that vodka brand that you can see on the back of that guy's shirt. The Russian vodka brand, which is owned by Diageo, so there's obviously still some sort of arrangement left for sponsorship or otherwise. But anyway, that's the background for those stories. Williams. Bottas was quickest, as we've just heard, 108 laps, 123.2. And he was doing some long runs, and then some aero work, and then some short runs. On the short run with the super soft tyre, it was the 23.26, but on the soft tyre, it was a 24.0, and it was slower. It was about 0.4 seconds, the Williams, per lap, slower than Hamilton on the same tyre. So that's where we seem to be. That's kind of where we started in testing, wasn't it? Saying that Williams seemed to be sort of half a second a lap to 0.4 to 0.5 seconds per lap slower than Mercedes, which is pretty much where they were last year. It seems to be pretty much where they are this year. Let's just see what the mood is inside Mercedes while I tell you what they did. And there's Keke Rosberg, who's turned up. We've had a rash of VIPs. We've had Dietrich Mateschitz, the co-owner of Red Bull, who's turned up here today. Keke Rosberg is here supporting his lad. And Hamilton was second on 123.6, 73 laps, and Rosberg was ninth on 91 laps, 126.2. So today Rosberg was doing the race simulation that Hamilton did yesterday and managed that very successfully. And today Hamilton was doing the qualifying simulation that Rosberg did yesterday. And the difference is that Lewis was 0.4 seconds slower than Rosberg on the medium tyre and 0.6 seconds slower than Rosberg on the soft tyre. Lewis did say, you might have just heard it, that there is a reason for that. We don't know what that is. Were they running heavier fuel? Was Lewis running heavier fuel? Or is the reason for that Rosberg is simply faster around here, which he has been recently, in recent years, hasn't he, than Lewis Hamilton? Intriguing, isn't it? I'm not going to come to any sort of conclusions on that particularly, but anyway, it's a three-stop race that Rosberg did. So that gives you some clue as to what the strategies are going to be. I think we're going to have one more stop per race. Although 3 stops fairly standard around here now and again. This is Lewis's motorhome. Nice, isn't it? All right, Toro Rosso, very solid day for them. The most laps, I think, out of anybody on 166. That is true for Carlos Sainz. It was 7th quickest and on a 25.3. So there's clearly reliable. They're making good progress and everything is fine, which leads us to Red Bull. And they did pit stop practice. They did 25 pit stops early this morning, which was really some feat. And they seem to have got them as quick as they always do. Christian Horner was on the pit wall timing them, and he seemed very happy with progress. We heard from Daniel Ricciardo. He was 135 laps and a 125.2. So that's good progress for Red Bull. And, engine allowing, they do go to Melbourne. They're ready to go to Melbourne in not bad shape. I'm just wondering what everybody here is waiting around for. I don't know. What are we all waiting around for?
The drivers in there.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is about...
Waiting.
There we go. Oh, Si, off you go. Fill your boots, son. Right. Thank you, sir, for informing me. I knew this was happening. This was the, obviously, this is to discuss the new qualifying. Situation. And you could say that they couldn't organise a you-know-what in a you-know-what. But it seems that we're edging towards some sort of compromise where Q1 and Q2 will be run along this new idea of let's have a quick knockout with everybody and the slowest driver gets eliminated, and then Q3 will be as normal as we're all expected, because everyone thought it wouldn't work, because when we get to Q3 it's all going to be slightly odd, and then it will be a massive anticlimax when you just have the second fastest person and the fastest person. The fastest person wouldn't really sort of celebrate with a final shootout lap. He'd just sort of trundle around. But anyway, they're all sort of discussing what they think. And I don't know, Simon, what do you think? Who looks most impressed and who looks least impressed? Can you see Kimi at the end of the table there? He sort of doesn't look like... he looks, to me, like he's a bit... Simon, just to the left of you. Here, just to the left of you. Oh, you can see him. He looks like he's sort of taking it all in. Anyway. Right. That's it. we will let you know the outcome of this tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.